You do look to be in great shape. How is the training camp going? Because we see the 30-second clips with Rafael Cordero and your whole team, but could you give us a little more insight into how things are going?
I'm doing great, but my body is shit right now. I'm sore, I'm really sore.
Sure, he's 100, but G looks good.
Yeah, man, he's looking really, really good. I'm definitely a little bit crazy, and I'm definitely a little bit scared.
Mike Tyson seems to be facing challenges just 2 months after his epic clash with Jake Paul. Once hailed as the most intimidating figure in boxing, it's genuinely painful to witness him now, seemingly attempting to reclaim relevance through unfamiliar avenues. Alarming footage shows he's put on weight, sadly, not of the muscular kind. Fans are left puzzled. What exactly is happening to the legendary icon?
The head movement and inside is just wild.
Everything. And the power. It was just, that's what you wanted to see from a heavyweight. So that guy is still alive. And he still remembers all these moments.
After his electrifying return to boxing that left many fans debating his iconic status, the aftermath for Mike Tyson has been far from graceful. The former baddest man on the planet now appears to have exchanged his historic victories for fleeting paychecks and haunting reflection. As his legacy begins to unravel quicker than his endurance in that bout, Tyson's return is rapidly turning into an inflated and regretful disappointment.
Tyson people talk to. There's certain people that are just crazy, man.
Well, these people that think that he don't stand a chance against Jake Paul, that are like, this shouldn't even, like, because he's too old. I was like, I think you're crazy.
The name Mike Tyson alone once sent shockwaves through anyone brave enough to share the ring. He was far more than a mere fighter. He embodied raw fury, a human hurricane that tore through adversaries in mere seconds.
Tyson requested the 2-minute rounds, wanting to see more action.
Jump ahead to November 15, 2024, and Tyson's name now evokes something starkly different: struggle. His highly publicized fight with Jake Paul wasn't merely a physical contest, it was a generational standoff, a collision of pride, and a stark indication that even the most revered champions eventually face their decline.
Friend Mike Tyson tweeted that he almost died over the summer. He said, he had a bunch of blood transfusions, just had to fight to get healthy, and then his performance yesterday against Jake Paul. Just your thoughts on what we saw.
Mike Tyson was right, and I was wrong.
This was far from the Tyson etched in our memories. This was a 58-year-old man who had cheated death earlier in the year. The once ferocious destroyer of men now stood toe-to-toe with a YouTuber-turned-fighter young enough to be his son. Truthfully, it felt more like a tragic spectacle than a real contest.
Welcome home, Iron Mike Tyson!
Tyson appeared lost in the ring, struggling to maintain tempo as Jake Paul danced around him with youthful agility. Gone was the man known for merciless knockouts. This was Mike Tyson, still a legend, but now weary, diminished, and barely staying afloat.
Last day, he was ready to kill everybody on the boat because he had to jump in with all these sharks again in the middle of Florida. And he's like, this fucking asshole says that, he cares about me and everything else. I've been fighting since I was 12. And he throws me in the fucking ocean with a bunch of sharks.
The entire event has left Iron Mike in emotional disarray. Let's be real, how can a 58-year-old step inside the ropes without paying a steep price, both mentally and physically? In the weeks following the bout, Tyson reflected on the emotional weight, saying, "The fight was such a big ascent. We were so up and high."
But the day after the fight, I woke up and told my wife, why did I do that?
The morning after the bout, Tyson told his wife, "Why did I do that?" He revealed. In a separate interview, his heartfelt comments resonated deeply, laying bare the internal battles of a man who devoted his life to being great, now left to face the harsh truth that the world has moved past him.
Was by its nature a horrible fight, right from the start. It was just awful.
Mike Tyson's return against Jake Paul wasn't merely a boxing match, it triggered a storm of emotion and controversy that still lingers. In a brutally honest interview on December 9th, Tyson revealed that he's been feeling a little bit depressed since the fight. For a man who once reigned supreme in the ring, this wasn't just about a loss, it was about confronting deeper questions, his identity, his meaning, and what remains of his once untouchable legacy.
Jake Paul and Mike Tyson now have been suspended from boxing.
The aftermath of Tyson's return hit harder than any punch he ever took in the ring. What was supposed to be a victorious comeback turned out to be a sobering reality check. Jake Paul, the influencer-turned-fighter, left the ring with his hand raised, while Tyson's storied reputation hung precariously in the balance. At 58 years old, it wasn't just defeat Tyson was battling, it was the cruel truth that even icons aren't immune to time's merciless march. But don't forget the business angle. The event pulled an astonishing 108 million viewers on Netflix, setting new records. The hype was unmatched. Tyson, a warrior of the past, squaring off with Jake Paul, the symbol of boxing's flashy new era. From the first punch, it was clear this wouldn't be a storybook return. Tyson came out swinging, flashes of his former self showing. But by round 2, the decline was obvious, his power waned, endurance faded, and Jake capitalized on every flaw.
And everybody was saying, oh, nice shot by Jake Paul.
Right hand by Paul, that is.
With each passing round, it was more and more apparent that Jake Paul was running the show. His youth and quickness were simply overwhelming for Tyson. The same fists that once knocked giants unconscious now lacked their former fury. By the 4th round, the audience wasn't watching a brawl, they were witnessing time take its toll on a former king of the sport.
Judge David Yacobucci sees the contest 80-72, while judges Lawrence Cole and Jesse Reyes see it 79-73, declaring your winner by unanimous decision, Jake El Gallo!
In the end, Jake Paul claimed a unanimous decision victory, with judges scoring it 80-72, 79-73, and 79-73, an undeniable sweep. Still, the real blow fell on Tyson, whose legacy now sat in limbo. After the match, whispers of a leaked fight script began circulating, too much drama, not enough substance.
And we wouldn't be here today without him. This man is an icon, and it's just an honor to be able to fight him. And he's obviously the toughest, baddest man on the planet, so.
For Jake Paul, it marked a defining chapter in his career, but for Tyson, it was a tough reality to accept.
58, a lot of people thought you shouldn't be here. A lot of people thought you'd be done and dusted in the first round. Do you feel like you proved the world wrong, that you could at least go 8 rounds with a younger man?
I didn't prove nothing to anybody, only to myself.
The defeat wasn't just seen on the scorecards, it showed in every heavy breath, every slow movement, and every punch that failed to land with old-school force. And unfortunately, the consequences didn't end with the final bell.
What do you have to say to the critics that brought that up?
Oh no, I don't remember the fight that much. I kind of blanked out a little.
Sir, did you watch it back or anything, or no?
I will watch the fight. No, I have not.
Okay.
Tyson later admitted to blanking out during parts of the fight. The last thing I remember is Jake bowing in the ring. Let that sink in. The man who once ruled boxing barely remembers the end of his own fight.
Tyson later revealed that he had moments during the bout where he completely blacked out. The last thing I remember is Jake bowing in the ring. Think about that, the man once feared around the globe can't even recall how his own fight ended. Reflecting on his legacy, Iron Mike isn't just a nickname, it's part of the sport's DNA. With raw power and relentless aggression, Tyson became a one-man wrecking crew, breaking records that still stand. At only 20, he made history by becoming the youngest heavyweight champion ever, when he dismantled Trevor Berbick in 1986. That fight was only the beginning.
And I watched the guy's face, and I watched that confidence bleed from his face. Instantaneously.
Yeah. Tyson's prime was fueled by ruthless knockouts. 44 of his 50 wins came by way of KO. His infamous first-round finishes, 24 total, struck fear in opponents before the fight even started. He had a gift for ending fights before the audience settled in. When he became the first heavyweight to simultaneously hold the WBC, WBA, and IBF belts, Tyson wasn't just a champion, he was a force of nature. But let's keep it real, the backlash from the Jake Paul fight fractured the boxing world. Some loyalists praised Tyson for simply stepping into the ring again.
It wasn't about what he had left at 58, it was what maybe he might have, and the image, the scary guy. The guy that's going to eat your children, the guy who's the baddest man on the planet.
Tyson's reign was all about ferocity. 44 of his 50 career victories ended in knockouts. His first-round KOs, 24 in all, became his chilling signature. His ability to close the show before it even began made him a nightmare for the heavyweight division. When he unified the WBC, WBA, and IBF belts, Tyson didn't just dominate, he rewrote history. Yet, after the Jake Paul bout, the boxing community was split. On one end, faithful fans cheered Tyson for having the courage to fight again.
Your thoughts on what we saw?
Mike Tyson was right, and I was wrong.
And then there's Jake Paul, a conversation in himself. Is he the face of boxing's future, bringing evolution to a stale scene? Or is he everything wrong with today's sport, flash over substance, more hype than heart? Love him or not, the man is a marketing machine. After his win over Tyson, his stock in the celebrity boxing world shot through the roof. But let's not kid ourselves, this also reignited heated debates over what boxing is really becoming.
25 million and 40 million?
I think 20 and 40. Yeah,
20 and
I think that's
40.
what I'd heard. You know, which I'm happy Mike got the money, and I'm happy that he didn't get hurt. That was my fear, that it was going to be a real fight and he was going to get hurt.
You've known him for a long time. I've known him for a long time.
And what about the moral question, should someone aged 58, even with Tyson's legend status, still be fighting professionally? Many critics call it dangerous. And after Tyson's showing, it's hard to argue. This wasn't just a defeat, it was proof that even the fiercest fighters can't dodge time forever.
Well, I don't know. Maybe his brother.
You want to fight Logan? Logan, I think he said you might be next.
I'll kill you, Mike.
Now we're left confronting the complicated truth of Tyson's legacy, and it's far from neat. The man who once owned the ring like it was his personal arena is now eyeing about with Logan Paul. Yes, you heard correctly, Logan Paul. After a rough outing against Jake, Tyson is still pushing to stay relevant in the fight scene.
Wasn't the Tyson-Jake fight, wasn't that amazing?
Yeah. It's amazing they got paid so much money for that.
Some believe it's all about the paycheck after all. Who wouldn't want a slice of the celebrity boxing goldmine? But here's the thing, Tyson isn't broke. He's still got millions. This isn't about money. It's something much deeper. Maybe he just can't part with the rush of being in the limelight. There's a certain magic in staying relevant when the rest of the world has moved on, and Tyson clearly hasn't figured out how to step away. So, he calls out Logan Paul, and just like that, the conversation starts again. But here's the question, how much of his legacy is Tyson willing to sacrifice? He's already endured an unimaginable life journey, and instead of fading out in peace, he's back at square one, fighting to prove he's still got it. The danger is, each return to the ring adds another layer to a legacy that may not need expanding. Tyson's name is already written in boxing's highest echelon, does he really need another battle to prove his worth? Let's zoom out now and examine what this so-called comeback really represents. This isn't just about Tyson, it's a snapshot of the boxing industry itself. And what a strange place it's in. Let's talk about celebrity boxing, it's no longer a joke, it's real business. Sure, the money is massive, but at what cost? The soul of the sport is eroding. Where are tomorrow's Tysons and Alice? Instead, we're watching glorified influencer bouts. Tyson's loss to Jake Paul wasn't just his personal tragedy. It was a blaring warning sign that boxing, as we know it, is losing its way.
I believe that he was making the money he says he's making. Showtime Boxing wouldn't have gone out of business, and Showtime would have made sure they kept paying him.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this fight breakdown, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Fightcore for more powerful boxing updates. Stay tuned for the next round.